We're going to go for them to try and fight off drop. All I know is it's PGCS time. Map number 1. Here we go.
Arendelle. Oh, it's beautiful. It's lovely. The sky is blue and the plane is flying over what we have said is the original, the OG of this map. And of course, this plane pathway cut across the all the way across the map, going slightly northwest area. You can see there on your screens. So we're going to see a lot of drops towards the cities of Georgia Point, Paul. We're going to see Pachinki 100% get some battles. Who's going to be one to risk it? Military, we might see 1 or 2. Some of the later drops, they're going to drop around military. But all the question is where is this zone going to pull?
That will be very interesting to see. Of course, on this first map, we've got a decent bit of water overall, so those zones, if you do get unlucky, can cut to houses, but can also cut to just some unplayable areas. So we'll start with those 15 teams alive because, like we said, missing Driftwood here in our map number 1 with 59 players alive. Excited to see where these teams starts, and this is a really interesting strategy. You send one player off, they grab a car guaranteed for that vehicular momentum.
Well, you need a car. 100% you need a vehicle, some form of rotation. Zones just popped in. It is gone to the west. We're going to the cities. Oh. It is going to be on the hill as well, where the battles from the 2019 PUBG Summit Grand Finals was held. The final map was held on the mountain, so whether that zone slowly creeps onto that point, and we saw Liquid during that time fend off an entirety of an onslaught to keep themselves alive.
And we'll see what teams can battle their way on through. We're on here with Viz, who are going to be our first team we're watching, kind of splitting up the loot all around them and making sure, like we said, getting every member the loot, grabbing nades, grabbing heals, everything is equal value. However, as we know, early fights can be detrimental, but also could be good. If you take an early fight, it can be isolated out from everyone else. But if you drop early, like we said, either only top 8 are getting those placement points.
I honestly thought there would be some information there, and I believe it is. So that was on the north side of the map, just on the edge of the river. And that's something to note as well, where this zone has landed. I don't think we've shown everybody just yet how... I'd say it's a 60-40 position zone. 60% chance that this zone's gonna go south. 40% it's gonna go north. About 2 zones are gonna be wherever, whenever, and then come the 4th zone, it will decide to move away from water. So that's something we've got to keep an eye out. But off the get-go, Flawless from the EL squad of Everlong. Well, first down to get things going. No confirm. They can confirm that early point in the game.
Hey, you'd be number 1 over everybody else. Stop the count. We're the victors. No, you got to play at least 5 more maps here. Not enough to get it done. But yeah, we're actually seeing, like you called, a couple teams landing here in Pachinki, landing right next to each other, getting looted up as a 4-stack, and then getting ready for the ensuing team fight.
Yeah, that's Typhoon Gaming as well. That is a team who wants to fight, so you've got to be careful when you go against them. But Everlong, some nice propped up positions. We can see Young using the balcony, has some information to bring that fight forward. Here we go, Flawless loses that fight, and there we go, Typhoon bringing it down to their side. Can't confirm it just yet. So if you are Typhoon, this is where you start to use your utility, push forward, and get those confirms coming forward.
And that was an M4 battle, just absolutely one up and done. A few shots through the window, possibly equalizing us out to 3-3. However, Typhoon, through these open roadways, you don't want to push without the cover, without covering fire. So it looks like for Everlong, they might be able to hit that res, and I was exactly right.
Well, stepping away is what they need to do. Typhoon getting damage, and Everlong now have the upper hand here. But it is separate. It's separated single gunfights that we are seeing. And Everlong was able to bring their player back up from the ground, so that makes it a 4v3 battle. And this is not the situation you want to be in if you are both sides, Everlong and Typhoon, because there's that risk you lose all your players. There's that risk that you could also gain the points. Oh, the Dragunov not able to connect its shot. Oh, wow! Straight back! Typhoon getting a shot on the head. This is why I am so bad at this game.
I mean, timing is everything. One sniper shot can change it. White Trash is going to exit out of the window after losing their teammate. Everlong not in a great position. One member down, one member below half, needing to reset. I don't know if Everlong actually got that finish on towards the first Typhoon member, but Typhoon is battling. This team that loves team fights gets another big elimination.
Yeah, the confirmed did go through, so that's 3-3 on both sides. At the moment with this gunfight zone starting to come in. There's been one team that did drop military while this battle was happening. I can't, unfortunately my screen is so small that I can't read the names, but I believe that is, I'm not sure who that is. The purple team that both dropped down there. So we've got one team going down south. We've got a few teams on the edge of that southern circle amongst the forests, and that's something to keep an eye on, is that Flawless will find another and the flush, bringing this to a only Flawless left alive to try and fend off two angry Typhoon Gaming members.
I will say, doing damage, just ripping down the team numbers. Typhoon, a squad that didn't want to lose those members early, and unfortunately, even though they might win the team fight, might set them up for non-success later on into the game. You talked about it though, Flawless just trying to pick up the res. That's going to signal for Typhoon. Now is the go time. Send in the Molotov, push them right into the view, and Flawless is down to 42 HP. The last hope and the elimination. It's Typhoon Gaming with the first team elimination.
That's a great start if you're them. Yes, you've taken some damage. You're down to 2 players, but you can look back at previous occasions. 4 Angry Men within the grand finals was able to win a game with 1 player against 6 alive. So 1v5, that's still doable in those latter stages. So 2 players on your squad, you're going to start playing it slower. You're not going to necessarily go for every gunfight, go for every battle. But still, the odd free picks is what Typhoon's going to look for.
It's a nice start in terms of points. But like you said, we'll have to see how this duo does eventually move their way on over. I can confirm that team that landed down towards military base was Kladivo. So they're one of 2 teams outside of our current circle. Everybody else starting to bunker their way on up. And honestly, Hyper, there's just a ton of buildings in PUBG, so we're not going to see a majority of those really exciting 3 or 4 team fights until we start pushing in more of those circles.
Yeah, it's going to take some time, but right now, a lot of the teams are inside that circle. There's only 2. You said Clavido is one of them, and another one being AD, according to my mini-map, also trying to rotate through. They're kind of going away from Pachinki. I think they've heard the gunfight, don't want to get too involved, but here's another one here. Here's Cursed, having a little pop shots at 31 Gaming. Can't seem to get any angle, but anchoring at hospital at this current point in time, bit south of the zone, it's a fairly good position, because I do feel the zone on second phase is gonna end up being south.
I could definitely pull down that way, and I mean, this is one of the advantages of taking the position, is you just have that little bit of extra high ground positioning. You have so much field of view that, yes, a lot of players could snipe you out, target you, but you can do the same. You can cut off rotations. If you can get even 1 or 2 picks cutting off a rotation or being able to blow up somebody else's car, it could be detrimental to them for those end zones. And man, Hyper, we've already lost 6 players throughout the start of zone number 1. But as this team rotates out of hospital, they're going to take the nice little single-seater to try and go fast.
Gotta go fast. Gotta become like Sonic at this point in time. Just zoom it out of there as fast as you can. Is no surprise, we're seeing a little rotation going in. And to be honest, going south, I'm confused. I possibly would have pushed this closer to the river, but hey, these guys know more than what I know. But nonetheless, quick hunker in, get nice control. There is another team that is NBA over to the side. Zone's gone south, and already we don't have to think about that river problem.
Thank goodness is all I can say. I hate those river zones. I hate being stuck in them, and okay, we're doing flip skis here. The problem is there's some shots on the other side. Here's Cladivo. The squad from the bottom, it felt like, has found a great positioning all throughout this midpoint of the circle. And even though Maru sees a couple players, gets some shots in, is going to have to escape back to the team. Worst case scenario would be they push you back and get a 4v1 easy fight.
Yeah, it's not the worst. You usually send 1 or 2 players out to do your recon, to do your search. If they fall, it's not going to be the player that can necessarily clutch the entire round, but vice versa, you also have trust that they could win off 1 or 2 picks before your team gets there to reinforce. So no surprise, a quick retreat back, get to safety before another gunfight does come in. But right now, the map is quiet. The map is very chill, and an emergency drop is going to come in from Typhoon Gaming, so they're going to be dropping in from the sky at any point as well. No surprise. Pachinki a little too far away, and especially when you're down to 2 players.
Honestly love it. You not only get the drop, but you also get another team kind of rotating out throughout the side of Pachinki as well. So 2 teams making rotations, making moves to get themselves a better spot in this next zone. Of course, 14 teams still left, 53 players still live in map number 1. 5 more maps to go after this. But how big would it be for any team to take that winner chicken dinner and bring a snowball start onto an avalanche for the rest of the day?
100 ADR clearly got a knock, can't get a confirm to go through, but they are pinched here. Few teams either side. Just keeping them under wraps. That's why they're staying indoors. Don't want to expose yourself too much. And there you go. We hadn't really been showing the zone all too much, but you can see that zone covering the likes of Hospital, covering a lot of open field at Gatak, or however you pronounce that beautiful landish area. So we're going to have a few... I feel this is definitely going to be allowing that hill, that upper band where the mountings, you got to be careful of there. Not Broke holding that position right now. That's going to be a dangerous point you got to keep an eye on.
Gotta kind of watch for those pincers as you talk about. You might be shooting towards one, and I always say, who's holding the holders? Who's going to be holding you once the zone closes and you were holding on somebody else? So, of course, as this zone keeps shrinking and shrinking, it's going to force these teams to push back together. A nice little care package drop going to be dropped basically right in the center of the map. We'll see if anybody does decide to go for it. Of course, with this map specifically, you're looking at a lot of land, very few mountains. So for Not Broke to have this position, this is really good for just sight lines and information in general.
You also got to be careful. Yeah, you've got that high ground, but anyone else who has their 6x, 8x can start picking you off. You are exposed here. So something to be mindful is win or die. Well, they're going to get a good rotation coming in. It is going to be read by Not Broke, so they need to be careful. And now the pop shot's going to come in. Not too much to give everything away, but Win or Die has to force their way through. Also 31 Gaming as well, and ooh, look at that juicy loot.
Level 3 helmet, level 3 vest, the 15xer, and the MK. That's a pretty juicy one, but like we said, definitely out in the open field. What you exactly mentioned actually happened right there is Not Broke. It did get some target, but right now it's Winordai who are under the target of just absolute fire. 1 for 1, it looks like. 2 now. The swing out here from Layosh is able to get the full elimination. We're down to 13.
Win or Die, absolute annihilation. Just took that under control, didn't allow anything to come through, and now Not Broke wants a piece of this pie because there's a few players who are injured. Need to be careful not to get full-on killed. You got Hallow just on the edge of the door, I believe. That needs to be in some good cover as Not Broke are capitalizing. I don't blame them. Go for the push, go for those gunfights as 2 of them are going to try and get aggressive.
I mean, we said it, win or die, a previous champion trying to win again here in series number 3. It looked like they had gotten one of those full finishes, but you talk about the work back from win or die. They had 3 people down on the ground to recover from that. Just gives a testament to how great this team is. And honestly, that was just a straight up 4v4 team fight to start. They played the inside of the building really, really well. And honestly, that's a really good omen for the rest of their game.
It's a great omen to have. But I'm looking at, I believe, 31. Too far away from them. There they are. Their compound is beautifully settled. It is. If that zone goes towards them, these guys don't need to move. And if you got either again, you could start blowing up and creating a way to get anywhere close to them. The only thing they have is, of course, one win or die, not too far away, but it's actually the Not Broke Boys again on that mountain, playing that advantageous position that could be a real threat coming forward. So that's something to be mindful, but everywhere else, it's anchoring down on hills and sightlines. Exactly what Kitchen are doing here. Trying to stay away from the storm on request. IX finds one, gets down low to finish it off. And now has to back.
Just a rough situation here for Kitchen. Had to make that late rotation. The team we were talking about rotating all the way through Pachinski in towards the extra damage they were taking from the zone. Some nades in here from Storm on request. The problem is this fight was not super clean for them, and they're going to lose it. The team from the outskirts, Kitchen, gets it done with 2 Resible members.
Yeah, I don't think people were expecting Kitchen to win that gunfight, especially how the hill was just favoring Storm on request. But hey, that's how the cookie crumbles, and holding that zone, Kitchen, they've got time. The phase 4 zone, oh no, not really. 13 seconds, they got to get moving, and they've got to heal up fast. They need a car. They need a car fast, because that zone is going to hurt. Phase 4, I'm out.
Gotta run, gotta hurry, and I think they tried to avoid bringing the car because it was a noisemaker, right? They wanted to make a sneaky rotation down towards that southern side. Our zone we got is pulling a little bit more northern inside of it, but the fights continue. Win or die will eliminate Not Broke after that phenomenal re-engagement position. Now they are in such a good position with 7 kills already, sat right in the center of this next zone.
They're in the center, but also they've got a lovely divot they could just peek up. The only problem I see is just where we're facing right now. Where the vehicle is down there is going to be the problem. And it's not going to be too major, but the mortars are coming in. Spread yourself out. Don't get too close. Red line and also the side of 31 Gaming are gonna be pinching onto Win or Die. So that's gotta be you gotta be careful here, because those are 2 fights you don't want to face against.
Definitely not. Here come the shells from above here. Win or Die is going to grab in the car for just a second. It looks like they were able to grab that crate. We saw the MK in the inventory of Gedrox's teammate. Does have the helmet broken, but like we said, just in a great position in this divot. Avoids dying from the shells. And look, it's Typhoon. Even with 2 players, they're getting involved in the fights.
You gotta get involved. You gotta get back. You gotta get some points early on, and especially when we're getting this late into the game. 11 teams still to go. Remember, top 8, the only ones getting 20 seconds left before we find out where we go next. Who's going to be favorable? Oh, it is 31 Gaming able to stay inside, but Typhoon, here we go. They're getting aggressive. Down to Tyne. Tyne 7. Peeking, dipping, diving, trying to find a way to keep himself alive. Somehow he's still going. Somehow he keeps himself going. Typhoon is still in this game. How would you win that?
That's a 1v2. Tiny7 just able to get it done. 2 solo kills, 3 for the teammate they're reviving, and now 7 as the squad. Just 2 teams away from scoring some automatic placement points. And this is going to let them actually rotate on a softer side because they clear out almost everybody around them. They're going to have to work into a team directly in the zone, but at least they're not fighting anybody for the rotation.
They're not fighting anybody too heavily. There's 2 nearby. That's going to be a problem. But at the same time, they're on that south side. The zone's gone south as well. So that's going to help them to get themselves back in. But 31 Gaming, they're screwed. That zone just doesn't cover the compound that they're hiding in. They have vehicles, they have abilities to get themselves around, but when you have people left, right, and center, particularly Cursed, who are just eyeballing you every second, it's so hard to get out.
Where do you look for here? You're gonna lose Slevin on the rotation, and it's going to be the final car drive in, trying to find their space. The revive here. They actually get settled back on the rock and get just a second of brief respite to reset, to get going. And the car strategies here from Claudivo to get themselves some roof access.
Hey, it's good height will massively help you, but the roof does not give you cover anywhere else. So there's a win and loss to that idea. There's only still 4 teams still haven't pushed in. We're finally seeing 31 push in through the zone, but here we go. Calvadora is gonna try and get some pop shots going in. Nothing too much just yet. As Kitchen, they had a big fight on the southern side of the zone. Now they've pushed themselves quite deep in. Again, a lovely divot to play in. And it's gonna help them. A little too far away for nades to come and play, but I wouldn't say it'd be too long. It's 180 top the brackets, top the positions. No points for them unless there are some kills for them.
And Playmen, or the squad to eliminate them, they are just urging themselves on the edge of the zone to pick up anything. Redline, the previous champions, able to get some done with nade value and some other value with the weaponry. We're starting to see the coagulation, the fight for these houses. Claudivo, their position is being engaged on, and Redline is on the other side of it.
Claudivo gave away their positioning as Typhoon also drop out of this battle, but Redline, they have information. They know which buildings to throw these nades in. The question is, can it land? Can it go in the right area? Redline find one with a nade, and now comes this opportunity. You gotta start pushing in, apply the pressure to get going. And Node, you gotta check a full 180 around this corner, but so much fire in the building. There's both of them just there. The nades are out. It's the wrong opportunity. Redline somehow win that battle. 8 HP, and now they have a building to settle in.
Problem is, that zone is closing in. You realistically only have 20 seconds to start getting that move on before that thing starts closing you out of these buildings. Very few teams have a safe positioning. It's the long, flat landscape out of Gatka that is forcing these teams inside towards each other. And Redline, it was a great fight. The heals are good. They fully reset, back up, and it's going to be Playmen eliminated.
Cursed just got out on that north side, so that position will allow 31 to all and get a bit of movement and get themselves some lovely positioning if they want to take advantage of it. But in doing so, look at how south it is. How it's also a farm field thing you can play amongst. So you want to be taking just you getting into the little divots. Still 5 teams to go. We're not on the top 4.
So close, though, to earning a massive amount of placement points. It is A lot of quads still up and alive. You can see that duo up top there. Win or die, still a 4. Somehow, some way, they have found a way to fight back. And for Extends, it's going to be the look over towards Redline. Redline trading one here of win or die. But at this point, you've got to make your rotation. Cannot worry about the resurrection. But it's Extends to get another one, get back to cover, and survive with 12 HP.
Win or Die has been hiding in this pit for so long, and now their position completely known to all the teams. Redline are going to be the ones trying to surmount pressure, but when you slowly fall one after the other, now you're going to allow 31 also to get sniffing into this battle. But Redline and Win or Die, as we mentioned, previous champions, they want to kick this off well. They want to make sure that they are the kings to kick things off, as that's a good knock. If you're Ibis as well, brilliant way to get it going as the team from South also is getting involved.
It's down to the top 5, but everybody is starting to lose members. 31 Gaming are slowly creeping up on this winner's high position. They found the shots without the cover. It's Marcus trading 1 for 1. Win or Die, and Layosh is on the counter burst of damage, and unfortunately for Holly Weapon, just getting shot from every single side. Win or Die hits 10 kills here. They're on a killing spree, but the nades flying from the sky from Saibi explodes too.
Top 4 and all players have 2 people left. Win or Die have 1 knocked, and they are going to try and res him up to get it to a fair advantage. 31 Gaming now eliminated. Cursed, Kitchen, Win or Die left to go, and Win or Die's got 1 player up, but a revive quickly going to come in, and that zone is not good. There is a fraction of cover to keep these guys in the game, and look at Cursed. Look at Cursed.
Oh, man.
They're in a position that they can be. Kitchen, a little bit south, they're going to expose themselves at some point. They will the divot to help. So they will be in zone, but Win or Die is rotating to their position to try and put up one more fight.
I mean, Curse just let everybody else fight. They just let all the other points go to the wayside. They need to pick up this winner chicken dinner. Obviously for Kitchen, their story to even get towards this position is crazy. The outside rotation, the 1v1 fight win. Cursed is going to lay down all those shots, make it almost impossible to breathe for these other 2 teams. And if they just force them to fight, they could third party it and clean it up. But here's Kitchen. They take one down. It's a 2v2 already. Saibi, the nade master, goes on a double. Make it a triple. 5 kills, and it's down to the final 2.
Saibi solo clutching that situation. You don't need your teammate to help you out. You point to the bitter sweet end, and now you've set your sights onto Cursed. It's an uphill battle in the most literal sense. 11 kills for Kitchen. Huge way to enter this, and you're gonna get a top 2 guaranteed. Man, I'm feeling good about how this could unfold. Only Cursed was 7 and a win on their side. Again, the win will massively help them. But it's the calm before the storm. The zone's going to pop in first. But I do enjoy of what Cursed has done. They're putting themselves into the field. They're putting themselves out of the advantageous position and getting themselves more central.
It's going to be tough for Kitchen here. They're the ones on the outside of that next zone pool. Of course, for Cursed, don't actually know where the Kitchen players are because that fight happened so quick. They're going to finally find vision. IXC is going to be on the other side of those shots from the NK-12, picked up from the crate a little bit earlier. Just a straight up field, bushes, and a 2v2. All that stands between you and a game 1 victory. And Cursed, how good would it feel to open it up?
Yeah, but they're giving themselves away massively, and it just takes one good shot. And this could start the manslaughter in the way. Zone will start to push in for Phase 8. We're about to head to Phase 9, and if you all know how PUBG works, Phase 9, there is no zone. It forces you to the middle. Look how close both of these players are, CB and Fenchi. just almost millimeters away. And they're not literal millimeters, but they're close enough that one wrong peek and you're screwed, you're done for. But Tail, he's got the car, able to rotate through, will give away his position massively here. But gives himself a little bit more time to reposition, have a little scapegoat if needed. And it really is calm before the storm.
It's interesting that these two duos, they've decided to play away from each other rather than sitting right on top of each other. IEXE has a chance to just find this side-winding trail for Kitchen. If they could find the side shot, it could be huge. And Frenchie is taken down. Kitchen's up in the 2v1, and all they need is just one more kill. Tail is on a bad position as well.
It is a horrible open position. That nade's gonna land really well. Throws him out, forces him into the open. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. And that's the great start if you are Kitchen. 12 kills to 13 kills to their name. And they went...